Hello, everyone. I am Mia Carberry, and I am here to discuss the effects of climate change on the nutrition of polar bears. Climate change is causing habitat loss for polar bears, which are heavily dependent on sea ice for hunting and traveling. Unfortunately, the warming of the planet is melting the ice. Consequences include malnutrition, death, increased human and bear interactions, reproductive failure, consumption of garbage, disruption of the ecosystem, and food chain interruptions. In this presentation, we will explore diet and nutrition, body condition score, season length and energy imbalance, mothers and their cubs, the consequences of being driven inland, and finally, some potential solutions. Polar bears are carnivores that feed primarily on seals, carcasses, and occasionally will hunt larger prey like walruses. They receive more fat than protein in their diet, with a ratio of 1 part protein to 2 parts fat. Lipids, or fat, serve as a source of energy, water, and warmth, and they make up 50% of their body weight. Speaking of water, polar bears don't really drink it. They get their water as a byproduct of the fat they break down in a process called lipolysis. Some minerals and vitamins that are important in their diet are calcium, vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin C. In the Arctic, the ice is at its lowest in the summer and the highest in the winter. During the summer, polar bears go through a natural fasting season. Male polar bears cannot fast as long as female polar bears because female polar bears have more fat stores. Mother polar bears rely on those fat reserves when denning for 6 to 8 months with their cubs. The problem for all polar bears is that the fasting season is getting longer, which means polar bears have less time to hunt. There are multiple signs that polar bears are severely lacking nutritionally. A body condition score evaluates the fat content and subsequently the health and productivity of an animal. Scientists have noticed a severe decrease in the body condition score of polar bears. At the top, you can see that the healthy polar bear is nice and plump and fluffy, and on the bottom, it's more emaciated and you can see its bones sticking out. Body parts of interest include the hips, backbone, neck, and ribs, and in the bottom picture, you can see all of that. There have been more sightings of polar bears with lower body condition scores. One sign that polar bears are suffering is the leading cause of death in polar bear cubs is malnutrition. The mother is not able to meet the energy requirements to produce milk. Milk contains 40% fat, 11% protein, lactose, antibodies, vitamin D, sodium, and pollutants that the mother has eaten can pass to the cub through the milk. Mother polar bears can go without food for 6 to 8 months to care for her cubs in her den. She must gain over 400 pounds for a successful pregnancy before she enters her den. If she does not, she will not be able to provide enough nutrients to her developing cubs. The lack of available prey has driven polar bears inland in search of food. This has had many different consequences for polar bears. For example, polar bears have been killed by gastrointestinal blockages after eating garbage, poisoned by chemicals after eating garbage, and have been having more interactions with humans. Additionally, the pollutants that polar bears have ingested pass to the cubs through the milk, and pollutants stored in blubber can be passed from polar bear prey to the polar bear. In conclusion, habitat loss is threatening the nutrition of polar bears. They are starving, dying, and struggling to thrive in a rapid changing environment. There are many signs that show that this is occurring. For example, the body condition score has been seen decreasing. Mother polar bears are unable to consume enough energy to produce milk. The leading cause of death among cubs is malnutrition, and polar bears are being forced inland to search for food. Some potential solutions include supplemented diets in captivity in order to preserve the species, walls around garbage dumps, crossbreeding with grizzly bears to assist in adaptation, or immediate extreme climate mitigation to limit habitat loss as much as possible. Scientists expect that the global population of polar bears will drop by 30% by 2050 due to the ice loss on the current track that we are on. Something I think it is important to add is that the terrestrial sources of food that polar bears are searching out do not provide enough nutrients for them in comparison to the fat-rich diet that they get eating seals on the ice. Here are my citations. Thank you for listening.